Hi everyone, welcome to Band Class Online. Kind of limited for options and stuff, but today what we're going to be doing is introducing a little bit of music writing stuff. So for those of you who were here last week, I was starting to show you a little bit of Chrome Music Lab, and some might remember it from before, but that's what we're going to be using. So I just thought I would give you some video instructions on how to go about doing that. So first thing you're going to want to do is just Google Chrome Music Lab. And then if you press enter, first thing that's going to come up is this guy right here. And then what we're going to want to do, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that you can check out, but the thing that we're going to focus on is this song maker. So a few things you might want to notice here. So this here's the play button. So that's what we're going to use once we have some stuff that we're going to have written down. Very first thing, if you are using a phone or a tablet, the first thing you're going to want to do is go into your settings and just make sure that you are at 4 bars, not 2 or 1 or 3. We want 4 bars, and for range we want 2 octaves, okay? 2 octaves, not 1, 2. Everything else should be pretty straightforward and the same for everyone, but just make sure that those 2 things are fixed, those of you who are using phones and tablets. So I'll just show you a little bit around this. Most of you will be able to figure this out pretty easily, but this is kind of like note 1. We do note 1 of our scale in band class all the time. So if you click the very, very bottom here, that's kind of like you're doing note 1. And then it just kind of goes up from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you'll see that there's a little bit of a thicker blue line here. That marks a new section. So at that point, we go up to 8, which is also 1 again. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's no top 8, but that's okay. So that's what the little, grids here kind of mean. Each beat, so if we're thinking in 4/4 time, if we're thinking in like 1, 2, 3, 4, each of those is separated into 2 beats here. So we have, this is beat 1, these 2 here, this is beat 2, this is beat 3, and then this is beat 4. And then here we have a new bar of music, and you can kind of tell because it's a little bit grayer, right? So this one's white, this one's gray. So to put it into music terms, it's kind of like having in 4/4 time with 8th notes. So these are like 8th notes or TTs. So T, 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 just like that. Okay, and we got 4 bars of 4/4 in this entire screen right now. Okay, so those are the notes. Down here, you're gonna find drum beats. So these circles down here are kind of like the bass beats, like a bass drum or something like that, or a kick drum. And then these up here are kind of like cymbals or something like that. So anyways, a few different things you can do with that. And then here, if you click these, you can change the instrument that plays the sounds. So now it's a piano. Now it's strings. Woodwinds. Kind of hard to tell when it's only one thing happening at once. Here, we'll do that. There you go. And synth. And you can do the same thing. I think that's it. Yeah, it goes back to the first one. You can do the same thing with the drums, right? So you can have electronic, you can have blocks, you can have the kit, you can have conga, and you can go back to electronic from there. Other thing you can note is that you can change the speed just by doing this thing. So you can go super, super fast, or you can slow it right down. Okay, a couple of other things. Down here, you'll notice one that says mic. If you have a microphone attached to your device, so if you're using a phone or a tablet or something like that, you can actually record yourself, and it will pick up kind of what you're singing and then translate it to what's going on here. I can't really demonstrate because my computer doesn't really have a microphone set up right now, but you can play around with that yourselves if you do have that. Undo, obviously. If you click undo, you're just going to undo whatever happened last. And then if you want to completely reset everything in the entire screen, you just press reset, and then everything goes back to the way it was when you first come in. So then if you have phones or tablets, that means that you're going to have to go back into settings, and you're going to have to change it back to 4 bars and 2 octaves again. So just be aware of that. People who have phones and tablets, you're going to have to adjust that again if you press restart. Now, while we're here, let me just show you a little bit of what these settings are. We're not going to play around with these a ton for what we're doing, but I just want you to know what they do. So here you can change the length, you can change how many bars of music there are, you can change how many beats are in a bar. Right now there's 4, but you can have as many as I think 7. Yeah, I think it's 7. And then you can also split it up so that it's more than just TTs. You can make ticka-tickas or 16th notes if you think of it that way, by splitting it into 4. And then there's different kinds of scales as well. So there's pentatonic and chromatic, which are some things that we have yet to talk about, but that's okay. And then you can also change what note it starts on, right? So you can pick from all these different notes here. Right now we have it just starting on C. And then you can also change how much range there is. So how high it goes and how low it goes. So that's what happens in the settings. Very last thing, and one of the most important things, is the save button. Now, the save button, basically when you click it, well, let's just have something. There's one note. If you click the save button, what's going to happen is it's going to create a link for you. And then what you can do is you can copy that link and then save it somewhere. I'd recommend having a Word document or something where you won't lose it, so that you can, keep track of it if you create a song that you really like or something like that. So basically, once you copy that, you can save it, and then when you want to come back to it, you just paste it back into the URL spot. And then it gives you your song again. One thing that you gotta make sure that you do is that every time you make changes to it, you gotta save it again, right? So it's not just gonna remember what the link is. Basically, anytime I now make changes, I have to save it again because the link is gonna be different. So just remember that as well. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for today. What I want you to do is just to explore. You don't need to submit anything to me or anything like that, but just mess around and try and see how many different things you can do with the program. And tomorrow we'll get started with some specific stuff where I'll show you some tips on how to make some songs. So have fun.